It's been a while, hasn't it? Good morning. How are you all doing today? Shema Yisrael Asher Eloheinu Yahweh Echad. ואהבת את ענת אלוהיך ובכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך וחיוך הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ולכתך בדרך ובשכבך ובקומך וקשרתם לעוד על ידיך וחיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתהם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך וחיה כי ויחיה אלוהיך אל הארץ אשר נשבע לבתיך לאברהם ליצחק וליעקב לתת לך עברים גדולות וטובות אשר לא בנית ובתים מלאים כל טובה אשר לא מילאת וברות עצובים אשר לא עשת כערים וזיתים אשר לא נטעת והלכת ושבת הישמר לך פן תשכח את יהוה אשר תישך מארץ מצרים מבית עבדים. Good morning, friends. I imagine many of you here right now have no idea what is going on. And some of you, in your ignorance, say perhaps accidentally hurtful things, but that's alright. It's totally okay. Shalom. Shalom. How are you, Daria? It's nice to see you here. So, today we are saying some old prayers. So we just finished some words from the book of Deuteronomy, which roughly translate as copy me. And you shall love Yahweh Eloheinu with all your heart and all your soul and all your might. And these words, these very words, teach them to your children or perhaps to your TikTok audience. You do you. Recite them when you wake up, when you go to bed, and when you are traveling and when you are at home. You shall inscribe them as a symbol on your hand and let them serve as a sign on your forehead. And paste them on the doorposts of your houses and on your gates. Repeat, repeat, repeat. Repeat these words, these old words. And maybe through the act of repetition you will understand what it is to live in a world that is divine. Maybe. Maybe not. Maybe you will just twiddle away your thumbs saying meaningless nonsense. It's possible. Depends on how you interpret it. It's water, Daria, but I keep it in a milk jug. The milk jug says for coffee. At one point it was for coffee. Reuse things around these parts. Gypsy, if you would like to hear me repeat the words, you should just come back tomorrow. I say the words every single morning. Every single morning. But now, we're going to return to this story, the Enuma Elish. Right, so the Shema and the V'ahavta come from the book of Deuteronomy, right? One of the 5 books in the Tanakh, Torah, compiled around 600 BC. This story, the Enuma Elish, was also written down around that time, but it is likely far, far older than anything that is contained in the Jewish Bible. This is a Mesopotamian creation myth, right? From the empires of Babylon, and before that, Akkad, and before that, Sumer. Good morning, Courtney. How are you? So we're going to learn how the Sumerians learned about how their world came to be. A metaphor for what it means to be human in their time, which maybe is also a metaphor for what it means to be human in our time. Difficult to say. Forgot the candle. There we go. Good morning, baby love. I'm in New York, Daria Kob. I'm in New York, in the Catskill Mountains. What part of Israel are you in? I have some friends who live in Kibbutz Nachshon, in the north, in the Galilee. It's a very pretty region. Good morning, Leah. Yes, I haven't seen you in a while either. It's nice to see you here. Naharia. So, we are on Tablet 2 of the Enuma Elish. Tablet 2 recounts the war between Tiamat and her demonic serpent brethren, and the gods, the male gods. She's going to lose. That is the end of the story, but let's not jump to the end. Tiamat then called together the legions of her demon army, assigning divisions to wage war against her sons, the gods Tiamat. The sons of the gods. Tiamat caused more harms for future generations than Apsu. It was related to Ea that she was making war preparations, and Ea took heed of that communication upon receiving it, but he was left speechless and sat without uttering a word. After he considered it at length, however, his ire subsided. He went to Anshar, stood before the one who fathered him, and repeated to him everything relating to Tiamat's plans. "O father, Tiamat, who gave all birth, is set on destroying us. She called together a congress and is like a deranged maniac, and the gods have all gone over to her side, every one of them, even those you gave rise to, have also joined her force. They have gathered around Tiamat and championed her cause. They were brutal and planned endlessly both day and night, grumbling and fuming, all done in the cause of making war. They called together a council of war to consider battle plans. Lady Huber, who made all, produced an unfailing weapon. She brought big snakes with piercing teeth and vicious fangs. Their bodies she had infused with poison rather than blood, and she caused these raging dragons to emit deadly beams and to wear mantles of brilliance, so that they were like God. Then the Lady Huber raised her voice, verbalizing the curse. Anyone who gazes at them will be stricken down with horror. They will always rise up their bodies and never back down. Then Tiamat enlisted a horned snake, a Mushushu dragon, a Lamu hero, an Ugalu devil, a mad dog, a scorpion man, brutal Umu devils, a half-man, half-fish, a half-man, half-bull, carrying ruthless weaponry, who revel no fear in battle. Her commands were so portentous that none could be ignored. In addition to these, she recruited 11 more likewise, and above all of her children, of all the gods who had assembled, she conferred among Kingu the chief rank amongst them all. bestowing the generalship of her army and rule of her congress, to hold aloft the spear to signify battle, and gather the warriors. She had given him high command of the entire combat force, and placed him to be seated upon the throne of rule, saying, I have conjured a spell in your name, making you foremost among the gods of Congress. You now rule all of the gods. You will rule supreme. For further, you will be my sole mate. Your order shall not be disregarded among the Anuki. She conveyed to him the tablet of fate, clasping it at his chest. Right? So this is very similar to the tablets that were worn by the Levantine priests in the temple in Jerusalem. But of course, this is in Babylon. What you say will not be altered, and you speak the law. So, after Kingu received his rank, had been given Anu power, and had pronounced the fates of his sons, the gods, he said, What comes out of your lips would obliterate flames. Your potent poison would serve to incapacitate the mighty. And so the troops are rising, and soon they will fight. Queen, we are reading from the Enuma Elish. This is a creation myth from ancient Sumer, although this version comes from Babylon. And it recounts a war between the first generation of gods and the next. And it can be read as a metaphor about the rise of patriarchy, or perhaps simply the rise of kingship, right? We don't have to gender it too much. It's certainly a metaphor for the rise of kingship. How is it that the state came to be in the world? Thank you, Harold. I hope you have a great day, too. So we will continue to read the Enuma Elish tomorrow. But for now, it's time to turn to a different tradition, a different ancient text in a different part of the world. We're going to say Arati. Arati means flame in Sanskrit. This prayer comes from the Bhagavad Gita. Right? Bhagavad Gita was written about 2,000 years ago, which makes it the most recent text so far that we've read this morning. From a different civilization, a different culture. My cat is here. She's very nice. So Arati means flame in Sanskrit. And I think Arati is a good mouthwash after we read so many names of so many gods. Tiamat and Anu and Ea and Kingu, right? All of these names that you're probably not terribly familiar with. And the Arati will throw some more names at you, but in a different context, right? Because the meaning of the Arati is very explicit, that all the gods are the same God, right? All are worthy of praise. All are connected at the root. You have an amazing day too, Queen. So, Arati means flame in Sanskrit. For anyone who asks while we're in the middle, the language is Sanskrit. And the word means light or flame, just like this right here. Jaya Jayarati Vina Vinayaka Vina Vinayaka Shri Ganesha Jaya Jayarati Subramanya Subramanya Kartikeya Jaya Jayarati Venugopala Venugopala Venuola Papa Vidura Navanita Chora Jaya Jayarati Venkantaramana Venkantaramana Sankatarana Sitarama Radhe Shama Jaya Jayarati Gauri Manohara Gauri Manohara Bhavani Sankara Samba Sadashiva Uma Maheshwara Jaya Jayarati Raja Rajeshwari Raja Rajeshwari Tripura Sundari Mahalakshmi Mahasaraswati Mahakali Mahashakti Jaya Jayarati Anjaneya Anjaneya Hanumanta Jaya Jayarati Dattatreya Dattatreya Trimutri Avatara Jaya Jayarati Adityaya Adityaya Bhaskaraya Jaya Jayarati Sanisharaya Sanisharaya Bhaskaraya Jaya Jayarati Sankarachaya Sankarachaya Advaita Gurave Jaya Jayarati Sadgurunata Sadgurunata Shivananda Jaya Jayarati Vishnu Devananda Vishnu Devananda Vishnu Devananda Jaya Jayarati Agastya Munaye Agastya Munaye Shriyama Priyaye Jaya Jayarati Ayapa Samine Dharma Shastave Jaya Jayarati Jesus Gurave Moses Gurave Buddha Gurave Jaya Jayarati Muhammad Gurave Guru Nanak Gurave Samastya Gurubho Namaha Jaya Jayarati Venugopala Natatra Bhati Natandrakaratam Nima Vidyobhati Kutoya Magni Tomeva Bantamanvandi Sarvam Tasya Basya Samidam Vivanti Om Gange Kayamune Kaiva Govari Saraswati Narmade Siddhi Kaveri Namastitam Namo Namaha Tvameva Mata Japita Tvameva Tvameva Bandisha Saka Tvameva Tvameva Vidya Dravinam Tvameva Tvameva Sarvam Mama Deva Deva Kayena Vacha Manasendriyarva Buddhyat Manava Prakrite Sabhavad Karomyat Yad Mangalam Parasmahi Narayana Iti Sarmar Payami Savadharmam Pravichaya Mimikam Savanambraja Aham Svasara Papayo Mokshayami Masucha. Whatever actions I perform with my body, speech, mind, my nature, my senses, my intellect, or my emotions, all these, I dedicate to you. Thank you so much for joining me today. Thank you for the shells and the roses. I hope you're doing well. So, to conclude, we're going to look at this image here. This image is the Tree of Life, according to some peer-reviewed research paper published in the last decade. A circular tree, a pattern which represents the way that the life history of all of the different creatures on the planet are connected. So here we have animals and plants, protists, fungi, archaea and bacteria. Right? They're all connected on this tree, right? Which means that 3.8 billion years ago, some creature lived, which gave rise to all of the diversity that we know today. I live on a commune. It's somewhat like an ashram, somewhat different. There are many ashrams in the Catskills, though. Have you been to any? That prayer that I just sang, Arati, is from the Shivananda ashram in Woodburn. It looks like a fishbowl picture of a city from a worm's eye view. Yes, I can absolutely see that, right? Lots of skyscrapers. Here, let me show you another version that might look slightly different. Right? Here's a different version. This one has all of the different words of all the different lineages on it, right? Annelids and mollusks and nematodes. I'm reading the worm section. In any case, there are many different ways to represent this pattern. Good morning, Katie. How are you? There are many ways to represent the pattern, but the core meaning of the pattern is to remind us that we are all descended from common origin, right? Common root. All of our religions are descended from a common root. All of our bodies are descended from a common root. Right? And to have a body is to lose a body, right? To live in this world is to one day die in this world. And so we will conclude this morning's prayer with a Kaddish. And Kaddish in modern Judaism is usually used to refer to this prayer of mourning, this prayer of grief, where we remember all of the lives that have come before us and we release them with these words. Yid Gadal, Vid Gadash, Shemei Rabba, Biama Defrachute, Biam Lich Malchute, Bachayachanu, Yamechanu, Chayede Kobe Israel, Bagala, Bisman Kari, Fimru. Amen. Yehe Shemei Rabba, Mevarach, Leolam, Omei, Omaya, Vid Barach, Vishtabach, Vid Baar, Vid Ramam, Vid Ase, Vitadar, Vitale, Vitalal, Shemei, de Kude, Shabarichu, Leelam in Kolbircha, Tabishir, Tatush, Birchata, Venechemata, Yamiran, Biama, Vimru. Amen. Yehe Shlamai Rabba, Amin, Shemaya, V'chaim Aleinu, V'yochol Yisrael, Vimru, Amen. Ose Shalom, Bimru, Vuya, Ase Shalom, Aleinu, V'yochol Yisrael, Vimru, Amen. Ose Shalom, Bimru, Vuya, Ase Shalom, Aleinu, V'yalechol Yisrael, Vimru, Vimru, Amen. Thank you so much for joining me today, saying these words. It's a gift to be able to share this practice with you all. Thank you, Teresa. I've worked hard on that voice. Practice all the time. At ashrams, too. Yeah. The first time that I ever sang with an explicitly feminine voice was at the Shivananda ashram. That is, in large part, why I say their arati every day. Because those words remind me that I can have the voice that I want, and that it can have the effect that I want it to have on other people. And that's reassuring to me. Good morning, Julie. I'm glad you like it, Olivia. Welcome. I'm glad you're here. So, I have class to teach in 19 minutes, but that means that I do have 19 minutes to spend with you. So I'm going to go get some buckwheat. I'll be back in about 30 seconds, and we can chat over breakfast. I'd love to hear how your day is going. Where do I shop my clothes from? Let me see. What am I wearing? This was a gift from my mother-in-law. This I purchased on the internet for a film shoot that I was doing. Most of this is purchased online. I don't know where I got this scarf. I think I found it somewhere. I eat boiled grain every morning with olive oil and soy sauce. And this particular, I just got a new can of olive oil in my studio, and I'm finding that it is quite spicy. Like there's a bitter, mustardy kick to it, which I don't know if that's a flaw or a feature. Julie, I'm glad that I've had a positive impact on you. Often I don't know what to make of some of the very ebullient things that you say to me, but I am grateful that you're here, and to know that we've had some kind of impactful communication. Good morning from Georgia. What time is it here? It is 9:44, and I have to teach an online class at 10, so I have 16 minutes to eat this breakfast with you. I live in the Catskill Mountains in New York, on a commune, where we share all of our money, and all of our time, and all of our trauma, and all of our emotional distress, and all our love. We share it all, for better and for worse. I'm teaching a class on TikTok on filmmaking. Teaching a filmmaking class to undergraduate students how to make little films about their lives. And if I'm being honest with you, they're not taking the class very seriously. And I have been overall somewhat disappointed with their performance. And I don't really know what to do about that. Maybe I'm just a disappointed person. Will that be live on my page? No, the class is private. It's a 4-credit university class. But if you want to take it, you can enroll. There's a link in my bio to my website, and you can get more information about the class there. Yeah, but I don't teach live on TikTok because I don't get paid enough to teach live on TikTok, you know? Have to make a living somehow. I am eating buckwheat with soy sauce and olive oil and cashews and flowering bok choy. Just about a year ago, I made a video about eating flowering bok choy that went viral, much to my surprise and chagrin. I don't know about chagrin. I was very excited at the time. But, TikTok is a funny place. Olivia, where are you from? Thank you, Cats and Books. From Missouri. Literally everything? What is literally everything? I don't think I could say I share literally everything. But I do share all of my money with 8 other people that I live with. And I share my house with them. And I share food with them. And I share illness with them. Right? We have one connected immune system. So I share anxiety about pandemics with them, even when I would rather not to. Sometimes. Some people I live with become very anxious and upset. And I would like to not be anxious and upset, but they are, and so I become that way. Because emotions are contagious, just like diseases. Yes, it's like a family. It's basically a family. It's not actually terribly profound, or even that interesting, right? It's a large family. We live in a big farmhouse, and we're connected to one another. I guess the difference would be that we're pretty queer, right? So it's a chosen family. We have some legal structures to compensate for the fact that the way that we look is not necessarily the way that most people look, but like we function just like a family does, with all the ups and downs associated with that. Do I enjoy it? You know, I think the things that are nice about it, I tend to take for granted because I'm used to them. The things that are consistently good and nice, I don't appreciate as much as I should. And instead, these days, I find myself disappointed with it, by and large. Disappointed by the limitations of our structures and the limitations of the people around me. Disappointed by the limitations of myself. I don't think it's a good orientation to be disappointed so consistently. I don't actually think it's anyone's fault but my own. But, I do like it, right? Like, I did choose this life. I chose this life. I chose it for reasons, for real reasons. Yes, we do take turns cooking. I cooked Shabbat dinner on Friday. I posted a film about Shabbat dinner last week. I don't know if you saw it. I'm pleased with that film. I think it came out well. The bok choy has a kind of mustardy flavor, because it's a mustard. Hi, Meg. How are you? Yes, we can leave at any time. We've got plenty of cars. I have a not handwritten, I have a written, it's on the computer. I have a written exit agreement. When I leave the community, they will give me a certain sum of money. But you know, it's kind of like saying, hypothetically, if you wanted out of your family, can you just leave? I mean, yes, you can leave your family. People leave their families all the time. I don't speak to my biological father. You can just leave your family if you don't want to. But, simply because the option is available to leave one's family, and simply because many people do leave their families when they're not working, doesn't mean that it's easy or pleasant. Right? Like, were I to leave this space, it would be a very difficult choice. I'm basically married. I haven't had a wedding, right? I'm not legally married. So, like, maybe me saying the word mother-in-law is, false. But I have a partner who I've been with for a decade. And her family feels like my family. So, I call her my mother-in-law when I'm on the internet, because that is the most similar relationship structure to the relationship that actually exists that that I can describe to you. You're not married and you have in-laws, do that. Well, that's good. Dudette, how is it in your circumstances that you're not married but you have in-laws? What do you mean by that? You just got married. Congratulations, Jenny. I'm glad that you find that this live helps you start your day. It's really nice to hear. You're engaged to your partner, and you call each other parents, mother, and yeah, right. I mean, I could basically say that my situation is identical. I'm engaged to my partner. Engaged meaning we have intentions to get married one day. TikTok doesn't like me anymore, Meg. I mean, that is a gross generalization, so overgeneralized to basically be false. But what I can tell you is that I my content is not being promoted on their platform nearly as strongly as it was a year ago. And I can't tell you why that is. Maybe it's because I'm not making compelling content anymore. Maybe it's because the weather is bad. I can't tell you. But if you want to be notified about my lives, you can join my Discord server, and I post an announcement there whenever I go live. There's a link to my Discord server in the link in my bio. I would love to chat with you on Discord, and then you won't have to worry about the whims of the algorithm showing you to me or not. I am eating my last few bites of buckwheat right now. I'm gonna have to go in a minute or two. Oh no! Meg, I'm sorry. Discord can be a little complicated. Yes, Kate, we do have baby geese. Although they're not really babies anymore. They were born in March. So what, they're three months old now? And they're almost full grown. Like they're almost the size of full grown geese. They're not sexually mature yet. But yeah, they're really pretty. They're like speckled white and gray. Yeah. Okay. So I have to go now. My students will be in Discord waiting for me in 4 minutes. So I'm gonna go attend to them, but it was really lovely spending the morning with you. And I will see you tomorrow. Meg, right now it's 10 o'clock for me, and I usually go live around this time, although I am somewhat inconsistent about it, but I try to be live between 9 and 10. Olivia, I do have a YouTube channel. There's some more recent content on there, some lectures that I've given. Most of the content on my YouTube channel is from when I was a boy. It isn't super representative of the kind of things that I make now, but there's a link to my YouTube in my TikTok bio. You can go check it out. All the links are there. And I hope to see you here again soon. Yeah, I will go now, but have a lovely day, everyone.